Signed by President Biden, it has now become law. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. Alright, it's been another very busy day as President Biden was just out a short time ago signing the new bill into law. That's exactly what I want to talk about right here in the video, and I also do want to discuss some of the headlines I've been seeing popping up all day long about this new bill that was just signed into law, and I also do want to take a couple minutes and talk about some of the comments I've been receiving on that last video that I just posted a few hours ago in regards to that little video posted by President Biden talking about Social Security and strengthening the program. So we'll get into that here in just a couple minutes. Let's get into it as we have a lot going on today, and I want to discuss all of these details for you right here in the video. However, really quickly before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video. As I am your one and only daily advocate, I am very much dedicated to you and the community to continue doing all of this research, watching all this information as it is hitting the wire literally every single day, breaking it down into these short videos, which I deliver a couple times throughout the day, so you can stay posted with what is actually going on right now, especially with all these very important announcements out of the administration, the president, lawmakers, Congress, and everything that Congress is currently working on right now, including all these new bills, packages, proposals, reform to these very important benefits, as well as so many other things that are currently cooking right now. We got to keep an eye on all of it because, as I like to say so many times, it's all going to impact us in some way, shape, or form. Therefore, we need to know, how is this going to impact us? What is it going to do to our money, our lifestyle, our bank accounts, our income, all kinds of things like this? We got to pay attention to it. Anyway, I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. That's my dedication. That's my commitment to you and the community. And as always, I'm sticking to it. So again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. And let's jump into it and talk about the bill that was just signed into law today by President Biden. And what are some of these headlines saying about this bill? Let's talk through the details. All right, so the bill that was just signed into law today is the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Now, this is the bill that was passed through the Senate about a week and a half ago. It was passed through the House of Representatives about 5 days ago, and now the president just signed it into law. That's it. It's a done deal. It is over. We do not need to vote on it in Congress anymore. We don't need to debate about it anymore. We don't need to discuss it anymore. There's no more amendments, nothing like that. It is signed, sealed, and that is it. Done. So here we are. Now what? What does all of this mean? Well, this is the bill that costs $433 billion, and it's projected to bring in $739 billion of revenue through raising taxes on higher income individuals, as well as implementing a minimum 15% tax on large corporations. So they're going to be bringing in about, like I said, $739 billion. Meanwhile, they're projecting it's going to cost, $433 billion. But anyway, there's not a whole lot in this package. There's a lot of climate funding. There's a little bit in there for Medicare to negotiate out prescription items, as well as put that cap on there of $2,000 out of pocket. But remember, on that one, I want to say this one more time here, because a lot of us have been focusing on this and thinking, this is great, right? Well, yeah, it's nice, but actually it doesn't even go into effect until 2026. So 4 more years until that provision actually goes into effect. So is it really the best thing in the world? Well, it'd be nice if it went into effect soon, but it doesn't. 4 more years until that one actually goes into effect. But anyway, this is the bill that we have right now. So we've talked about it in great detail in previous videos, so I don't need to go into a ton more detail about it. But again, it was signed today by President Biden. Now, let's quickly talk about some of the headlines that have been hitting the wire today in regards to this bill, because it's honestly kind of interesting to read everything. Now, I want to throw this out there really fast here. If you've been watching the videos for any length of time now, you know that I do not take political sides. I'm not taking political sides at all. These are not political statements in any way, shape, or form as far as directed toward either party or either side. These are just some of the statements I've been seeing out there today in regards to this bill. And again, this is across all various different news sites, some conservatives, some liberal. Again, all across the board. I've been seeing this across the board on many, many different news sites. So again, doesn't really matter where you read this stuff. It's all coming out there right now. Here's what's interesting about it. There's a lot of people that are coming out right now, even very popular and economists and analysts, people like this that have a lot of kind of authority behind them, are basically coming out saying this bill is going to do absolutely nothing to actually reduce inflation. In fact, they're projecting this is actually going to raise inflation for the next 3 years before it actually maybe tops off inflation a little bit. So if you're enjoying paying the high prices today, well, don't worry, you get to pay some higher prices tomorrow. So that's what they're actually projecting with this bill, is that it will continue to raise inflation, and that the name of the Inflation Reduction Act is actually completely false. It's not even true, according to what they're saying with these headlines and all this stuff I'm reading across all these articles. Again, not me taking political sides. This is what I'm reading about this from various different news sources out there right now. They're simply saying that this is not going to do anything to inflation. It is certainly not going to bring it down, but rather, since it's more spending going out right now, it's actually going to raise inflation slightly over the next 3 or so years. So not really what we were looking for, right? We were looking for a quick fix right now. We were looking for something to bring down this inflation really rapidly right here, bring these prices back down to earth, but unfortunately, that's not going to be happening anytime soon, according to what these reports are now saying. So that's one aspect of the bill. So also, some of these headlines out there right now are also projecting that this bill is going to raise taxes on virtually everybody, even though the president has said for all this time now that his dedication was not to raise taxes on anybody with an income under $400,000. However, the analysts and everything that is showing on this bill and all of the analysis that they're doing on this bill is actually showing it's going to raise taxes substantially on those individuals with an income under $200,000. And get this, they're actually projecting this is going to raise taxes significantly on those individuals with an income under $75,000 even. Again, scary. So on one hand, they want us to pay more through inflation, because that's basically what's going to continue happening here. And then, of course, with more tax increases on the lower income individuals, I mean, seriously, it's just getting harder and harder, right? The goalposts keep getting moved further and further back these days. It's tough out there. So a lot of other people right now are actually saying that we need to watch this right now in the United States economy, because this is not a good thing for the United States economy. So again, these are all just the things I've been reading out there today. There's a variety of different opinions. And again, I've been trying to read everything from both sides all over the place to get a balanced opinion on this. And unfortunately, this is just what everybody's saying about this right now. Of course, there are a few reports coming out saying this is the best thing since sliced bread, and this is going to bring down inflation, and it's going to be a great thing. There's been all kinds of great initiatives in there to, buy solar panels and buy a electric vehicle and all kinds of tax credits for all this climate type stuff like that as well. But at the end of the day, let's be real. Are solar panels free? No. Is an electric car free? No. Is a big windmill on the top of your house free? No. You got to pay for all that stuff in order to get the tax credit, right? So just another couple things we got to pay attention to. You say you always got to read between the lines. And again, I hope you can recognize I'm not taking political sides with this. I'm simply just giving you the information as I'm finding it. It's kind of shocking to see all this information coming out thinking, wait, I thought it was the Inflation Reduction Act, and apparently it's not. It is. That's what the name of it is, but yet it's not doing anything that it says it's going to be doing in the title. So I don't know. That's just what I'm reading about this bill today. So anyway, it was signed today by the president. All right, now let's take a couple minutes here and talk about some of the comments I've been seeing rolling in on that last video from earlier today. A lot of really interesting comments coming in. Here's the consensus that I'm seeing on that video from earlier, which, by the way, if you did not see that video, I would say this much. When you get done watching this one, go back and watch the last video that I posted. It was in regards to a short video that President Biden actually posted. It was yesterday, actually, that was posted yesterday in regards to the Social Security birthday, because Social Security officially reached 87 years old. It was signed into law in 1935. Anyway, President Biden was out in a little, like, 1-minute video. Actually, I believe it was 1 minute and 7 seconds long, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was a very short video where he was out talking about Social Security and how they want to expand it and strengthen the program and all kinds of things like that. Well, again, if you want to see that video, I have it linked in the description of that video from just the last video that I posted earlier. So if you have not seen that video, check it out. And if you want to see the video from President Biden, look in the description on that video, and I have the link right there where you can go to it. It's just, like I said, about a 1-minute video of him talking about it, and you can hear exactly what he says right out of the horse's mouth, right? So again, figure of speech, not saying anything about Biden. I'm just simply saying it's a figure of speech. So please, don't freak out on me. Anyway, that's just what they're saying. But the comments that I've been seeing down below on that video are kind of interesting. I would say the vast majority of people here in the community are probably kind of a little bit irritated right now because, there's been a lot of different promises that have been thrown out there right now. There's been a lot of information tossed around saying, we're going to raise benefits by $200 a month. We're going to jack up benefits up to 100% of the federal poverty line. We're going to do all these kinds of things to ensure that seniors, older adults, and of course, people with disabilities and those individuals receiving SSI are going to be taken care of, and the programs will be reformed, and all of a sudden, everything will be fine and dandy, right? Has anything happened yet? No, we all know that nothing has happened. So we all recognize this, and a lot of times, I think we can all probably agree, it gets to be a little bit old and gets really, really frustrating when we continue to hear the same old things coming out and then no action. Well, when are we going to see something here? At what point are we finally going to see some kind of action on this? And at what point are we finally going to see some kind of relief on this as well, right? So again, that's what I've been seeing down in the comments section. A lot of really great comments coming in where a lot of you are saying, we were supposed to get a $200 raise years ago. We were supposed to get a raise up to the federal poverty line years ago. What about the SSI Restoration Act? They never did that. What about reforming Social Security and doing all these kinds of things to benefits? Again, a lot of really good things that I've been mentioning and seeing down in the comment section on that video, and I totally agree. It's nice. It'd be super nice if all this stuff happened. Talk is cheap, but at the end of the day, it hasn't really been happening yet, right? So I think all of us can probably agree, and probably all of us are in the same boat here when we say, if they're going to say something and actually offer something to us, at least follow through, or at least give us an update on where we currently stand, and are they currently working on it, or are they not? Have they just dropped the entire thing, right? So I think at this point, a lot of us just want to know, is it happening? Is it not? Where do we currently stand? Rather than just all of the smoke and mirrors that we see all the time with all these political games. It just gets really old really fast. You know what I mean? So anyway, go back and check out that video from earlier. Again, keep those comments rolling in. A lot of really good comments. I've been reading as many as I can. And of course, as always, I try to respond to as many as possible. But honestly, it's not really that many. I try to respond to a bunch each day, but realistically, I don't do a very good job at responding to as many as I would like to, just because it's a very time-consuming thing. And don't get me wrong, I want to, but again, I feel like it's more important to read as many comments as I possibly can versus trying to read and respond to all of them, because realistically, it's a lot more important to just read comments, those messages that many of you are leaving down below, and again, just try to read as many as possible because I want to hear your opinions and all this stuff going out. So anyway, this is what's going on today so far. Of course, if anything else pops up here and anything else that you need to know about, of course, I'll continue watching it closely and bring you those updates as I get that information. Either way, I'll continue to be here for you no matter what, bringing you the updates and doing all the research as your one and only daily advocate. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out some of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, have a good one. Thanks so much for joining me. Thank you for being part of this community. And when I say community, I literally mean if you're watching this video, if you've subscribed to the channel, if you're doing anything else here, you're part of the community. That's it. Totally free to be here. Always has been and always will be. So enjoy your day. Thanks again. I really do appreciate you. Have a nice day, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.